So friends, I hope you got to attend one of the No King's Day rallies on Saturday. I had the pleasure of attending our rally right here in little old Leesburg, Virginia, and I had the privilege of addressing the crowd, and I'll play that video in a minute. But first, I want to say something about one of Donald Trump's favorite topics, crowd size. Because as we all know, on Saturday, while we were protesting against a tyrant, a dictator, an autocrat, a wannabe king, Donald Trump, he was throwing himself a little birthday parade. And when it comes to crowd size, little is the perfect word. So let's have a look at some compelling visual evidence of how Donald Trump is growing weaker and we, the people, are growing stronger. There's the No King's Day rally crowd in Philly, and there's Donald Trump's sad little birthday parade in D.C. No King's Day rally in Boston, and there's Trump's pathetic little party in D.C. No King's Day rally in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Donald Trump's sad little show in D.C. And friends, even in our little town of Leesburg, Virginia, there is the crowd for our No King's Day rally. And there's Donald Trump's empty stands in D.C. Now, friends, let me be crystal clear. None of this is intended as a criticism of the U.S. Army. I served proudly for 6.5 years on active duty as an Army JAG prosecutor. And if this was an event celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Army, I would have attended. But not when it was just a pretext for Donald Trump to celebrate himself. Friends, it is indisputable. Donald Trump is getting weaker, and we, the people, are getting stronger. In time, Donald Trump will fail, and then politically, Donald Trump will fall. Because justice matters. My name is Glenn Kirshner. I served 6.5 years on active duty as an Army JAG prosecutor. I served 24 years with the Department of Justice as a prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C., primarily handling murder cases and RICO cases. I left the Department of Justice. I joined MSNBC as a legal analyst for 6.5 years. I recently left because I'm done with corporate media. I want to be all independent all the time. And if there's one thing I know, maybe it's the only thing I know, it's the rule of law. And I think what we all know is Donald Trump doesn't give a rat's ass about the rule of law. I mean, Donald Trump is a convicted felon 34 times over, and as we sit here protesting for what's right, speaking up for those who maybe can't speak up for themselves, simultaneously, this president is throwing himself a military birthday party. And the estimates are that when it's all said and done, including repairing the streets of the District of Columbia, our nation's capital, a city I love, it's going to cost upwards of $100 million. Guess what? Guess what? There are an estimated 32,000 veterans who are homeless. And you know, that money could literally eradicate veterans' homelessness in the United States. But Donald Trump doesn't care about the veterans. Why? Because what are we? We're suckers and losers. Are you effing kidding me, sport? I want to talk a little bit about points of light, because we are living amidst the Trump-induced darkness, right? And we can forget that there are points of light out there. Right now, the federal judiciary is a point of light. The reason I say that is there was a recent statistical analysis done of all of Donald Trump's cases that are in court, and a political science professor from Stanford did an analysis, and Donald Trump and his third-rate DOJ lawyers, with apologies to third-rate lawyers, they are losing in court 96% of the time. Let me tell you, as an old DOJ guy, we did not lose 96% of the time. And Donald Trump would have you believe that the reason he's losing 96% of the time is because the judges are lunatics. And Donald Trump's consigliere, Pam Bondi, his dirty lawyer over at the Department of Justice, says they're losing because the judges are deranged. Well, first of all, the judges who are ruling against him include judges appointed by Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump appointed judges are ruling against him every day. So it's not that they're lunatics and it's not that they're deranged. It's because Donald Trump is doing unlawful and unconstitutional shit 90% of the time, 96% of the time. That's why he's losing in court. But let me talk about one other reason why I believe the judiciary, the federal judiciary, is a point of light at the moment. And I know everybody is saying, but the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court. I'm with you, but the Supreme Court, because we have two justices who are no longer loyal to the Constitution, right? Clarence Thomas and Sammy the Bull Alito. No longer loyal to the Constitution. But listen to this, friends, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. In the last 3 Supreme Court cases that dealt with due process rights, specifically due process rights of immigrants, what was the vote? 9-0 in favor of due process, 7-2 in favor of due process, and 7-2 in favor of due process. I will take 7-2 any day of the week coming out of the Supreme Court. And I think with the Supreme Court having a full appreciation of what Donald Trump is doing, deploying the military to the streets in anticipation of using them against the American citizens, I have a feeling we're going to see more 7-2 rulings coming soon. But the courts will not save us. And the politicians, the Democrats, will not save us. It's not a criticism, but you know what? If Democrat politicians could have saved us, they would have saved us already. And we wouldn't need to be here. You know who's going to save us. You know who's going to save us. We are going to save us. We are going to save us. So the reason I know we're going to save us is because we were here for the hands-off rally, and that was big, but this is bigger. And we are bigger than Donald Trump and what he's trying to do. And this is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Let me finish up with this. Donald Trump is not getting stronger, he's getting weaker. Donald Trump, if he was so strong, you know what? He wouldn't have to deploy the military to the streets to instill fear in the citizenry. We would all be afraid of Donald Trump just because he's the dear leader and the dictator. He's getting less confident, more desperate. He's not getting more confident. And so what I believe, friends, to my core, it doesn't mean it will necessarily come to pass, but what I believe to my core is that because of us, because of you all, and the 2,000 protests, No King's Day protests that are going on all across the nation, Donald Trump will fail, and then Donald Trump politically will fall, and it will be because of us, because of all of you.
This is emblematic of everything we hold dear.